Hello, I am here to talk to you about being a female leader and what keeps you up at night. A lot of us, we don't want to admit to these things because what got us to the point we are in our career is what we think we have to keep doing. For a lot of us, that's working like a machine. For a lot of us, that is to make sure that we do everything as perfectly as possible. Even though there's all sorts of messaging out there that talks about, oh, just do good enough. Well, for a lot of us leaders, we don't really feel like we can do that because what does keep us up at night is the fear of losing what we have. It's the fear of maybe somebody else coming along and doing a better job, or somebody kissing somebody's ass better, or however you look at it. What we unfortunately do is we trap ourselves in the idea that we can only do things in the way that we've always done it. So we can only do it in a certain way. We can't do it in a new way. Why would I want to do personal growth if that's going to change how I do it? What if I lose my drive, right? We're afraid of losing our drive. We may be worried and anxious about what's going to happen if we do something different. And the truth is, to me, I look at, I want to live this life. I want to live the shit out of this life. I can't do it if I keep doing things that don't feel good to me. I can't do it if I constantly compromise myself. And here's the thing, this is the hard part. And we were having this discussion, actually me and a couple of other women were having a discussion. And the discussion was about being intellectually stimulated. It was about how many things you can put on your plate and doing this all over the place in your life, professionally and personally, right? And there's a turn on to it. There's a feeling of I'm thriving, I'm excited, I can't wait to dive into the 100th project that I now have on my list of things to do. And we do this because we somehow feel we're not good enough. It all goes back to your self-worth. Yeah, the self-worth that nobody knows how to teach anybody. Because as a child, your parents are pretty much an autopilot from what they know. And maybe with a few changes, of course, like I'm not going to do it how my parents did it. But for the most part, we just keep passing things down. And one of the things we pass down is self-esteem, or poor self-esteem, poor self-worth. And the only way we feel valuable is by getting accolades outside of us, by looking a certain way, by performing in a certain way. So the fear of losing that can keep you in a place of being a machine. You just constantly are doing, you're constantly giving. Hey, you have a heart attack or a stroke? Hand me my computer. I can work from my hospital bed. Seriously, it is not like you can allow anything to slow you down. Why? Because there's fear. This isn't by love, okay? There's either love or fear in this world. And a lot of people don't like to bring love into a professional setting. But when I'm talking about love, it's a different motivation. You love yourself, you are motivated differently. You don't love yourself, you are totally driven to prove to other people that you are worth it. And that, to me, is the biggest divider. So, I'm getting all excited about this, as you can see. But the reason is because if women truly want to be leaders that embody leadership in a way that feels great, and that means bringing future generations of women in this way, then this is how women, I don't want to say will take over the world, but will definitely take over more C positions. We'll start more businesses. This isn't us against them. This is us against ourselves. And that's what you want to get out of the way of, is yourself. So even if you are successful and you've done all sorts of things and you've challenged the status quo and you've been through challenges and you don't want to visit those again, and you're afraid you're not going to have anything left, in basically, unless you keep doing things in the same way. You keep being driven. You keep not paying attention to other parts of your life, perhaps, or looking like you show up physically, but emotionally and mentally you're checked out and you're checked into your work. Whatever it is that's a gas in your tank and you think it's good enough, I'm going to tell you, you're going to hit a wall if you haven't hit a wall yet. You will. And that's not the way to live. You can be far more successful by changing your motivation to a healthier, love-based motivation, loving what you do, loving yourself, and loving the people that are surrounding you, versus being in fear, waking up in a cold sweat, thinking you're going to lose everything, because that right there is what you may tell yourself, because it comes from that lack of self-worth. You don't feel like you deserve. As hard as you work, there is still a part of you that doesn't feel like you deserve. And the harder you work is not, I'm going to repeat this, is not going to make you feel any different. You're always going to feel like that. You could own the entire planet and you would still feel like that until you start doing the personal growth necessary to change this dynamic inside of you. And it's important because we need more female leaders to not go through burnout, to not be fighting the patriarchy or whatever you want to say. And I'm not, dissing it. I'm saying your focus isn't helping you to be a better leader. You want to grow your self-worth. You want to feel more valuable. It's not through your accomplishments, but let me tell you, when you start to come from this other direction, you will accomplish a lot more in less time. It takes me far less time than it used to do the tasks that I need to. In fact, I find I have free time where I never used to, and I think, well, I already did the things I needed to. I'm just not adding the extra stuff that just kept me busy for no reason. So that was me. And there were several other things I was doing too that I no longer do. It's the point of, you have to look at what is important to you. I asked myself that question the other day. What is important to me? There were 3 words that came to me: freedom, security, and love. Those are the 3 important things. Those come from deep inside of me, from a place of inner wisdom. They weren't just off the top of my head. And that is what gets me out of bed every day. It isn't, I need to prove myself. It isn't competing with other people. It isn't comparing myself to somebody else's success. It's none of that. And as long as those things dog you, guess what? You will continue to not be the leader that you can be. No matter what it looks like from the outside, it's the inside that counts. Take care.